Right now, an AI can solve most easy and medium lead code problems in seconds. So if you think grinding 300 problems is still the whole game, you're preparing for an interview that doesn't exist anymore. Here's what companies are actually testing for instead, with the real data, not the YouTube comment section version. Four separate 2026 hiring surveys, real ones with real sample sizes, asked engineering leaders and developers exactly this question. The results aren't what most lead code is dead videos claim. By the end of this video, you'll know what actually changed, what didn't, and the skill that keeps showing up as the differentiator once you look at what these surveys actually measured. Let's kill the myth first. Live technical interviews have not disappeared. In Karat's 2025 to 2026 survey of 400 engineering leaders across the US, India, and China, live technical interviews are still standard in 79% of US processes and 87% in China. So, no, you don't get to skip DSA prep. What did change is what happens around the coding round. Take home projects, for example, are used far more in the US, 45%, than in China, 20%, and AI policy on them is split too. 38% of US processes explicitly allow AI use in interviews versus 68% in China. There's no one global rule. Company by company, you have to check. Here's the mechanism. HackerRank surveyed 13,732 developers across 102 countries, one of the largest datasets on this, and found 97% of developers now use at least one AI assistant, and AI generates an average of 29% of their code. When almost every candidate can lean on AI to write correct code fast, did the code run stops being a useful filter? So interviewers shifted the target. Instead of just checking output, they're probing reasoning. Why does this approach work? What's the trade off? What happens with this edge case you didn't plan for? That's not a rumor, it's the same conclusion Karat's leader survey and HackerRank's developer survey point to from two completely different angles. This isn't theoretical. Eightfold.ai has actually run AI led coding interviews, about 60 minutes, two coding questions, where the AI interviewer asks live follow ups about edge cases, alternative approaches, and complexity analysis. Candidates who went through it describe it less like a static test and more like a real conversation with an engineer who keeps asking, okay, but what if? And it's not just eightfold. CodeSignal's own March 2026 survey found 91% of US software engineers already use agentic AI tools at work, and 75% had shipped AI assisted code to production in the prior 6 months. So, CodeSignal built agentic assessments around tools like Claude Code and Cursor instead of trying to ban them. The interview is starting to look like the actual job. Here's the part most AI changed everything videos skip. HackerRank's same survey found 76% of developers say AI makes gaming technical assessments easier, but in the same breath, 78% say current assessments don't reflect real world work anyway. Companies know both of those are true at once, which is exactly why CodePad's 2026 hiring report shows technical assessment volume up 48% globally since mid 2023 and AI friendly hiring processes as a top 2 hiring priority for 2026. Translation: companies aren't testing less, they're testing more and differently. Mistake to avoid: assuming I can use AI, so I don't need to actually understand my solution. A majority of candidates admit to using AI even where it's banned, but the follow up questions are specifically designed to catch someone who can't explain what their own code just did. So, what do you change? Not your DSA prep, that's still the baseline. 79 to 87% of interviews still include it. What you add: practice explaining your solution out loud, not just submitting it. Practice defending a trade off. If you're allowed to use AI in an interview, practice narrating your prompts and corrections the way you'd narrate driving, because that narration is now part of what's being graded, not an afterthought. One number ties it together. 71% of the engineering leaders Karat surveyed say AI is making technical skills harder to assess. That's exactly why companies stopped hiring people who can outtype AI. They're hiring people who can outthink it once it hands them an answer. So, did AI kill LeetCode? No. Live technical interviews are still standard in the large majority of processes surveyed. What changed is that correctness alone stopped being the whole test because AI made correctness cheap. Companies added reasoning, trade off defense, and real AI collaboration review on top of the coding round, not instead of it. That's the honest, sourced version of how AI changed tech interviews, not a headline number. Next step: next time you solve a problem, don't stop at "it passed." Say your trade off out loud to yourself or a friend, like an interviewer is listening, because increasingly one is. Let me know in the comments if you want a full breakdown of how to actually structure your DSA prep next.